Hey everyone, I apologize if this goes off prematurely. It's had a habit of doing that lately at times. But I want to welcome you guys to this little special video. Well, not special video, but still, if you're a Disney fan like me, and you grew up with Disney practically your whole life, right from the beginning to now, like myself, you pretty much know that your family is Disney oriented in many ways. Basically, you can't go throughout the house, or basically in the house, or throughout anybody's house of your family or relatives, without noticing that a lot of the stuff that they own sometimes could be Disney related, if not entirely owned by Disney. Me and my family, heck, when it comes to movies, Blu-rays, DVDs, heck, even VHSs, we, most of the time, just have Disney movies. Yeah, we have Warner Brothers, Universal, and all them, and 20th Century Fox, and Blue Skies, and all that. But a majority of our DVDs, VHSs, Blu-rays, digital downloads, if we have those, if we do those at times, most of it is Disney related. Heck, about a month ago or so, a couple months ago, I'd say about a couple months ago, me and my family, or me, my mom, and my niece, went to the mall in Modesto. And of course, like with any mall or any big city, they had a Disney store. Well, I went into the Disney store while my mom and my niece were looking around and bought me and my mom 2 mugs. A joy mug for her and a fear mug for myself. So yeah, go figure. And also thanks to friends like Frank Hill, I have an inside out button. And again, as I mentioned, you look around houses like myself, your houses, anywhere, relatives, friends, you're bound to see that a majority of what they own, from movies to mugs, to t-shirts, if you will, clothing, if you will, video games, like for example Infinity, are all Disney. A majority of what they own is Disney related. Now, some of the Disney stuff they own is also due to the fact that Disney now has ownership stake in some of the properties like Marvel and Lucasfilms. But when you put those to the side and you take a look at everything else, again, you'll see nothing but Disney at times, and that's a fact. But one of the major things a lot of times you'll see in a lot of these homes when it comes to the Disney memorabilia or clothing or mugs, coffee mugs, cups, whatever, one thing that's always constant is a lot of these things have 2 characters in them. Have 2 characters. That being, of course, Mickey and Minnie. Now, for years, Disney had always been wanting to do something with Mickey Mouse when it comes to theatrical feature films. The closest they got was actually 11 years ago with Three Musketeers. However, that was a direct-to-DVD film as well as now as a direct-to-Blu-ray film. But the question that got arose by a lot of people was this going to be it? Was this going to be the only copy we would get of any kind of Disney thing ever? Well, apparently it's not going to be, but still, a lot of people look at this and they think if this is the only one we're going to get, then where's everything else? And that, my friends, is a good question. You see, for years, Disney had always been planning to do something with Mickey and of course Minnie theatrically. And we're not talking theatrical shorts, and we're not talking theatrical shorts in the design of what we see now with Mickey Mouse cartoons, with the Mickey Mouse Show cartoons that come on sporadically every now and then on the Disney Channel and Disney XD. We're talking doing a movie, as you saw, with the designs, or current designs, that we know of the Disney characters. Currently the designs you see, let's say, with Mickey's Clubhouse, Minnie's bow tunes, if you will, stuff like that. those are the designs people still want to see, are so used to. Now, for anybody that's wondering, well, if that's the case, why are they using these more kind of like classic designs? Well, the Mickey Mouse show, in my opinion, is more of a tribute and homage to the classic days, but with a blending of that Spunko kind of style that was made famous in the Ren and Stimpy cartoons at times. But again, like I said, more along the lines of the blending of the original classics and more modern day humor and stuff. Again, like I said, made famous with shows like Ren and Stimpy through Spunko and all that. So still, that's all it is. Mainly the Mickey Mouse show shorts are maintained for the older audience, for a certain demographic, in my opinion. Funny, yes, at times they can be, but they're a little too mature at times, I guess. Not saying that they are. It's kind of like with the Muppets right now. People look at the Muppets on ABC as saying, what kind of version of the Muppets is this? This is a Muppets for the entire family, but it's more of a mature Muppets for the older audience. That's basically what the Mickey Mouse shorts are. But overall, if you want to look at the overall perspective of Disney, the current designs that we currently have of Mickey and Minnie, that, like I say, you see on Playhouse, Bow Tunes, in the parks, if you will, and still currently in other kind of forms of media, like t-shirts and stuff like that, and even movies. Those are designs meant for the whole family, are meant for the whole family to enjoy. But here's the question. Here's the question. You know, with all that said, why hasn't Mickey and Minnie gotten the theatrical movie? What has caused Disney to delay themselves on bringing Mickey and Minnie and their friends to the big screen? True, like I said, they've had their movies. They've had Three Musketeers. They've had the compilation movies for Christmas, Twice Upon a Christmas and Once Upon a Christmas. They've had Snowed In at the House of Mouse. They've had the House of Villains. But despite all those being direct-to-DVD and Blu-ray films, basically direct-to-home video, when is the theatrical one coming? You see, this is something that's been planned for years and years and been talked about, but it's never been achieved. Walt Disney himself, back even as early as the 40s, as early as the 40s and all that, and even the 50s, wanted to get Mickey Mouse on the big screen with a theatrical feature film. The closest he ever got was Fantasia, and the other one, of course, being the short Jack and the Beanstalk, or Mickey and the Beanstalk, which was part of Fun and Fancy Free. But even the Mickey and the Beanstalk one was supposed to be even longer and bigger than, well, what we saw. What I mean is, Mickey and the Beanstalk was supposed to be a lot more different than what people were used to seeing. Now, if you watch the Fun and Fancy Free DVD and even the Blu-ray, you will see that Fun and Fancy Free had more extension to it, had more story to it, in a sense that people could actually enjoy. As a matter of fact, Minnie herself was supposed to portray the queen that Mickey was going to trade the cow in for the beans, for the magic beans, if you will. She was supposed to be part of it, but it never happened. So, as early as the 40s, 50s, Walt himself has been wanting to put Mickey on. Walt himself, back then, before he passed, had been wanting to put Mickey on the big screen. And throughout the 70s, and mostly throughout the 80s and 90s, the concept was still there, and throughout the 80s, and even through the Renaissance, the golden age of Disney back in the 90s, the concept was still being discussed and talked about. And as we got into the 2000s, into the 21st century, the concept even started to get more steam, started to get talked about even more so, but yet nothing really came of it until Three Musketeers happened, but that was more of a direct-to-video film. Now, what's kind of ironic about this is back when this came out on video and on direct onto DVD, and then last year, and then earlier this year, onto Blu-ray, or late last year, earlier this year onto Blu-ray, the biggest question anybody ever had at the time, the biggest question anybody would have at the time, even to this day, is this it? Is this all we're going to get? And I don't think it is. I believe the people at Disney still want to achieve that goal that Walt himself wanted to achieve. And that is get Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, Goofy, Clarabelle, and whoever else onto the big screen in one feature film. But the question is, what would that film be? Now, a lot of people would pretty much say, well, if they're going to do one, it's probably going to be CGI. Maybe, maybe not. You see, if there's anything that Walt wanted back then, and even if, let's say, Walt Disney himself knew that we were going to go in this direction of computer-generated animation, one of the things Walt wanted was basically a traditional, or would want, is a traditional 2D animated film with Mickey and Minnie. Could that still happen? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it could still happen. But the question is how, why, how, when, and where. That's up to Disney themselves. And I'm sure they have the script set and ready to go. We just haven't had no information as to when or if it's going to happen. You see, when Three Musketeers came around, we were all happy because at least it was a feature film. But it was a direct-to-video feature film, and it was an adaptation of the Musketeers' story. However, with that said, we still enjoyed it, we still liked it, but it wasn't exactly what we were hoping for. Now, Goofy himself got a movie back in 1995 with the Goofy movie, but that was more straight on a theatrical continuation and adaptation of Goof Troop. I think everybody saw that. But when it comes to a legit Mickey Mouse theatrical film, people look at things like what they see with the shorts back with Mickey's Mouse Works, and even a combination maybe not in the animation style, but more in the story style of what we see with the Mickey Mouse show. Like I say, not in the animation style, but more in that kind of thing, but more in that kind of storytelling. But like I said, what we saw a lot with Mickey's, I'll give you a good example. Mickey's Mouse Works. They did some great stories. Again, the Mickey Mouse show shorts are good. I'm not denying that they aren't. They are good. But there's more about that mature audience, and more for older audiences. Let's not deny ourselves. Mickey Mouse Works and their shorts, they were good because they were for everybody. Despite being on Saturday morning cartoons and, kind of having certain shorts that people would find controversial or talk about, they still were overall pretty good. They were more of what was meant for theaters, or what you would see in theaters. And that's what people want to see. And that's what people want to see. And that's more what Walt himself would look at. Something to be an expansion of those shorts. Even the shorts he did when he was back when he was alive. Basically an expansion of those, but on a theatrical basis. Let's look at it this way. If Walt himself, and I'm pretty sure he was planning to do it anyway, if he had been alive or been around when they did Mickey's Christmas Carol, Walt himself probably would have wanted the Christmas Carol to be a longer extension than what we got. In other words, instead of giving us 24 to 25 minutes worth of an adaptation of Christmas Carol, Walt himself probably would have wanted it to be more of an hour, if not 80 minutes worth, because you could tell the whole story the way it's meant to be told, and with the Disney characters. Now, again, getting back to what I'm saying, I believe Walt wanted to have that movie basically be a almost 80 to maybe 90-minute extension of what you get with the shorts. But the question I think always bugged people was, what would the story be about? Well, I think one of the stories a lot of fans want to see, one of the stories people want to see told, because they feel as though, look, they've been dating for so long in the fictional world. In the fictional world, they've been dating for so long. It's time for them to officially tie the knot. Now, true, you have seen, like I said, in several adaptations that they have done that. But they have yet to really officially do that. And to me, that's one story fans would like to see. They would like to see Mickey and Minnie officially get married so that it is, official. It's not like, okay, they're not dating anymore. They're together officially. They're a couple. There you go. Just let it happen. Let it be. That's one story people would love to see, and I think the number one story people would like to see. But I think also fans would like to see something maybe out of it, something similar story-wise and adventure-wise, adapted out of what you see of the Disney comics, even the current ones produced through things like IDW and even Disney themselves. But the question is, will that happen? Sometimes people say the stories in the comic books are a lot better than what you watch on television or in theaters. And they sometimes are, because they're an expansion of what you see. They're an expansion of what you see. They're basically more freelanced. And with a movie, you can get that freelancing again. You can get that expansion that you crave, you hunger for. But will it happen? You see, that is the biggest question people have, is will it happen? Will it occur? And to me, I think in all honesty, the timing is perfect for a movie to be done. Look at it this way. We are nearly a year and a half, if not a year away from celebrating 90 years of Mickey and Minnie. 90 years! I think that's a good enough time to finally say, look, it's time to get these guys on the big screen in their own theatrical film. And I don't think people would mind it. I don't think they would. But again, it's all about what would the story be. Would it be a story that finally sees Mickey and Minnie get married? Would it be an all-out adventure story defending the world? Like, let's say they live in the whatever world that they live in, like Toontown, whatever, defending against evil. What could it be? Could it be a straight-out comedy, drama, whatever? You see, this is a question a lot of fans want to see answered. I think that's the one thing that's holding the story, a movie from happening is they have the plans, they probably have several scripts ready to be made into movies. The question is, which one will be chosen? How will they go about it? So, to me, I think that's the biggest obstacle that's in front of them, and hopefully they'll get over that obstacle and they'll set themselves down onto one script that they feel is good enough for a movie to be made. Because again, like I said, this is something that back when Walt was alive in the 30s and 40s, or mostly 40s and 50s, he had been wanting to do, and it was sort of tinkered with and thought about back in the 80s and even throughout the Golden Renaissance, and even more so in the past decades or so, decade and a half. So the question is, will it finally happen? I think the time's right. I really think it is. I think the time is perfect for a movie, a Mickey Mouse theatrical film, to be made with him, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Clarabelle, and whoever else you could throw in there. But to me, that's just my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Do you think the time is right? And which story do you think they might go with? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to y'all later.